white women. Every single conversation with white women, it is all the exact same. I was telling Joanne the other day that she's not going to be going. You can go to any other group of white women. They will finish the conversation for you. She was saying that I'm not doing my job, but I...
Hey everyone, I'm Damian Holbrook from TV Guide Magazine and TV Insider, and I'm talking with Matteo Lane, whose new comedy special, the Al Dente special, is on Hulu exclusively. And Matteo, I'm so excited to talk to you because I think I discovered you probably during the pandemic. It was definitely online, and a lot of clips of you. I feel like it was almost an iconic series of clips of you, like maybe in a basement with like a stained glass window behind you.
That's the Comedy Cellar, the very legendary New York Comedy Cellar. You know what's so funny? I recorded an hour of material I had been working on for years to try and sell to Netflix or whoever, and of course they all rejected it. So I decided, I was like, actually Andrew Schultz had a long talk with me and really helped me. He was like, cut up the whole special, like the whole hour you did, which is in a basement with a stained glass window behind me. So I did it. I cut it up, and all the clips blew up, and thank God, because now I could afford hair transplants. But it's funny because I was in my yellow shirt. I bought it at a thrift store in Montreal, like this Quebec duck. But I didn't realize it was a kind of branding. I didn't realize till later people saw me with that yellow shirt and knew when they're scrolling through, here's a joke. But then also people thought that I, like a Simpsons character, only wore yellow shirt. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, no. I was like, can't anyone put together? It was just one night. Can you imagine me going on stage for 30 seconds and running off? And
well, that's the thing, is like for concert tours, like, don't you have the same costume basically for all of the shows?
Well, I think Gaga and her $8 million budget do. For me, I'm showing up and wearing whatever shirt I bought off, Amazon. So it's not really, So now I kind of avoid wearing yellow because I'm like, I would look like a psycho. I would look like I'm always just wearing yellow.
Well, this is, well, you definitely, I mean, you're very casual in this one, which I love. I'm like, I don't think I've seen a comedy special where the guy's wearing shorts.
I was dressed by Jason Wu, which I love to brag about, the very designer. And he styled me for that. So it was very Devil Wears Prada. I walked in, they had all the clothes laid out. They put on a million outfits, took a bunch of pictures. And he was like, I think this yellow short, sort of warm, bronzy top with a sweater is actually a good look. And he was right. I looked a little bit like Neapolitan ice cream, but, it really was.
It's on brand.
It worked.
Yeah. Because how did the deal come through then? Was it because of those clips? Is it Hulu?
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, no sad song here, but everyone rejected me, and I don't know what that was about, but I really felt like, okay, well, if the Comedy Cellar believes in me, I'm making people laugh. I can't be totally wrong, unless I was delusional. So I started putting my clips up online, and it was such a great tool to have complete freedom, and then also see there was an audience for me. I mean, people did relate to what I was saying, and it felt very, 17 years of doing stand-up. At some point, I'm like, what point do I quit if I can't, I have to pay bills. I was starving, and so yeah, and then eventually I did my own specials on my own. My friend Chris Kaza, who's my producer, helped me with everything and building a YouTube channel and building an Instagram. And I had a blast because it's all in my control. You don't have to do with dumb producers, and everything feels very authentic, which it is. And then Hulu was coming out with these specials, and they hit me up and they were like, we're interested in a special if you have one. I said, I actually do have an hour right now. But I was like, I don't need you. I can do it myself. And but then they were like, well, there's money involved. I was like, great, I'm listening. And they were wonderful. I was doing the Kennedy Center, which I don't think I can do anymore. Politics. But at the time, I was doing the Kennedy Center. And I just filmed it and sent it to them. And they called me and said, yes, we'd like a special from you. So it was a great experience with them. And it was very interesting not having to do everything on my own and relinquish that control. Right. But ended up being a really great partnership. And I'm really happy with the special. Yeah,
the special's great. It's absolutely, and it flies by too. Like because there's some shows that, they peak, and then there's like a specific point where it becomes a little too heavy or something. But this was, because I grew up, and I know that you were like heavily influenced by Joan Rivers. And yes. I grew up listening to like What Becomes a Legend Most and so like on vinyl. So, and I got a lot of that energy. But I got to tell you, your mic work is like the way you're able to like do the voices, and it's brilliant. I've never, like, I had to rewind a couple times. I'm like, how did he pull that off?
Well, a lot of it's also just being a singer and doing impressions, like, and knowing mic technique and stuff, but also doing it 17 years, you realize, like, if I'm going to scream or the dynamics of my voice are going to change, you get a better laugh out of it if the volume, if I pull back a little bit, or even when I do my white woman joke where I'm like, I was telling Joanne the other day, I'm not going to go, I mean, that's just like a crescendo, decrescendo, what I learned in opera. But yeah, thank you. I mean, I try very hard. I was very influenced by Kathy Griffin, very influenced by Joan Rivers, very influenced by Margaret Cho, which kept their stuff light and kept it going and moving, and you didn't know what they were going to say next. I always loved when Kathy Griffin would go like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you," because you felt like, "Oh, tell me,"
Right, it's a conversation.
Yeah, I want my stand-up to feel like we're catching up with an old friend at brunch, and that's not to say there's not heavy subjects within that, but they're masked through laughter, which is something that I try really hard to do. I hate going to a comedy show, you're laughing for 10 minutes, and then they're like, and that's when everyone died, and you're like, oh, it's like, I just give me an hour to not think about the world's worst things. Let me just laugh for an hour. Give me a vacation.
And you also, the gay recipe of, like, travel, celebrity name dropping, and sex appeal,
Well, the sex appeal, this is a lot of plastic surgery, but thank you. Yeah, I think, I mean, it's not even my own hair.
But you would say, like, you got the hair implants, then cut it really short. So it's...
Yeah, and let me explain this to people who don't understand, because I am growing it back out now, as you can see. People who are losing their hair, people who don't lose their hair, don't understand it's not about the length of the hair. It's about the hair line. It's the receding hairline, and I've been struggling with my hair for years and trying to cover it up and wearing a hat and avoiding pools and avoiding... If it rains outside, I'm like, that's it. I'm in for the day, canceling everything. So when I got the hair transplant, I thought, God damn it, I want a buzz cut. I want to wake up. I don't want to think about it. I want it done. I want to move on with my life. So yes, that's what I did it. But people are always like, why would you buzz your head? I'm like, leave me alone. You don't get it.
Yeah. Well, so obviously you didn't talk really about that in the show, but you do talk about your Italian visits a lot and running into Oprah, which is... Again,
not only did I run into Oprah, but when I did CBS This Morning with Gayle King a couple weeks ago, which I don't know if you heard, she said faggotry, and let me just say this right here, hysterical. And I love Gayle. I'm saying that right now. Gayle, who was wonderful, she came back before the interview, before she said what she said, and they had to rocket her off. She came in and she was like, I remember you in Rome. She goes, I was with Oprah. We were going to Da Francesco, which is someplace that I go all the time. She goes, and I remember you because here we are walking and we see this American turning to Oprah saying, you better work, Oprah. I go, that's hysterical that Gayle King remembers me from my encounter with Oprah. So it was full circle.
Everyone talks about like the dark side of comics and, they've got all this, like angst and all this stuff. And
let me just put it out here. There's a dark side of H&R Block. Like,
right,
I love that we think that comics are these deep, dark people. I think comics are just honest. And so people assume that their trauma is what leads them to get where they are. But in reality, I think you're just dealing with an honest person who no rose-colored glasses with the world versus everybody else who's a little bit afraid to sort of speak out.
But you're friends with a bunch of comics. Like the way
comics are my only friends.
Like, it feels like the opening of the show is like a perfect encapsulation of your life. It's you, a group of very funny people playing video games.
Yes, because that's my life. I have a very small life. I tour. I'll do a show for 6,000 people, and then I fly home and I play Fortnite with my 4 friends. That's it.
Because it's like Nicole Byer,
yes,
amazing.
Yes,
Evan.
Yes, Evan Williams, Sashir Zameda, Jacob. I mean,
Sashir's amazing as well. Yeah.
Yeah, those are my friends. I don't know why I had this vision in my head. I'm going to sit around. Unfortunately, Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange couldn't make it because they're touring and they're also very important. But it was really my close friends. I said, I want you here. And I just saw me playing video games and I said, I'll be right back. And I go on stage and then I come back and say, what did I miss? That was my goal for years. And so we made it happen.
It's amazing. And because it is like, you're like, oh, that's like the Comedy Avengers backstage.
Yeah.
Like Evan, I think I've been following probably as long as I've seen, been following you. And I love
Evan is my best. He is my best friend. Evan is my best friend. We started in comedy together. We did every open mic together. We lived with each other. We're like brothers to each other. Evan is a very near and dear friend to me. And people are always shocked by that because we're so opposite in how we are online, and then we're together. And when we're together, when I tell you the laughter, I sound like Liza Minnelli, the laughter, but like we really, one of those people we are crying of laughter, and we can be weird and go into weird worlds and do impressions and this and that. Love him.
You've done some TV, Abbott Elementary, a couple reality, like unscripted stuff, Crashing and things like that, though. Is there anything that you'd love to get on, like any shows that you would love to actually commit to?
I'm working on a show right now that's sort of in development, but we have to go to we sold it to a studio, but we have to go to streamers, so who knows. But I have an animated show that I wrote and drew because I used to be a storyboard artist for years, and I was a fashion illustrator as a professional job, and I created this whole world, and I really hope one day that I can take that out and sell that as a TV show because it's my favorite thing in the world.
Really? Okay. Wow. So opera, comedy, animation, you speak Italian. This is, you can pretty much do pretty much anything you want right now.
I should have been a spy.
Hey, don't say that because you travel too much now, so you get enough.
That's true. I'd be the worst spy. James Bond, it's so gay. You know what I mean? Like, they'd be like, how do you want it? Shaken, not stirred? No, I want a margarita with tahini. It's like, I wouldn't make it.
You'd be telling assets like, you better work.
I would be, something tells me I would be a terrible spy. So it's better that I just keep me on the stage doing jokes.
Right. Well, yeah, because again, like I'm so happy that this special is happening, that Hulu's behind it. It's so good. And it's like, as a fan, I'm just excited to see more people find you. So.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I hope people watch it. It really is. It was a fun time.